The following program is a work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their BCIT instructors.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, women's groups gather to protest the first hearing of the Missing Women's Inquiry. Volunteers bring warmth and turkey to the downtown east side. And it's official, Vancouver now has a Little Saigon. Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Julia Montague. Hundreds of mourners came out to remember and honor an 18-year-old Good Samaritan. Jamie Kehoe was stabbed on a bus in Surrey on October the 7th. He was trying to intervene in an altercation between two women. Tuesday marked the first hearing of the Missing Women's Inquiry in Vancouver. Various women's groups from Vancouver's downtown east side voiced their opposition in a protest downtown. Grace Sullivan reports.
The sound of drumming echoes through the streets of downtown Vancouver. Dozens who feel excluded from the current Missing Women's Inquiry gather to voice their concerns.
We've been most invested in the inquiry process. We are the ones that called for the inquiry. We've wanted it to be an effective process in order to show the systemic issues as for women. And we're here in a very small attempt to show that we care, that it still matters to this community, to the women in this community.
Amidst the chanting and cheering, Juanita Desjardins explains what exactly about the Missing Women's Inquiry needs to change.
All of these people here, they represent the voices, right? We want a fair, inquiry.
Desjardins' presence reflects her personal connection to the women of the downtown east side.
I'm here because I knew over half of those women that were impacted by the farm. This is where my passion lies, in having a voice, being heard on behalf of the people. I found my voice, and I'm going to use my voice in a good way, to come and help and be part of, and until there are changes, we won't stop.
Wally Opal said at his hearing his mandate includes making guidelines so similar tragedies like the missing women of the downtown east side never happen again. Grace Sullivan in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Also on the downtown east side, the Union Gospel Mission hosted their annual Thanksgiving feast on Monday. The event brought some warmth to a much-needed part of the city.
This is what most of us have to look forward to on Thanksgiving, and residents of the downtown east side are no exception. They're braving the wind, cold, and rain to get a Thanksgiving feast. But it's about more than just turkey.
What makes it more important, though, is what this meal represents. For some people, it represents nutrition. For others, it represents getting together and gathering like a family or a community. I think what most inspires us is that it really is an opportunity for people to get their life back.
The crew of dedicated volunteers are expecting to feed close to 3,000 hungry mouths today.
We have a great dinner today with turkey, and of course we have dressing, mashed potatoes and gravy, veg, and you have to top it all off with pumpkin pie and ice cream.
After savoring every last bite and enjoying some respite from the elements, diners share their appreciation with the team.
Well, I've been behind there dishing out turkey all day, so mostly it's just, high five, thanks, and all that kind of stuff. When people had finished their meals, all of them came by and said, thank you. And, just thanked us for helping them out with a wonderful meal. It's just a great opportunity for them to, be loved and cherished for a very short period of time.
And with this basic need satisfied, one guest shares what he is thankful for.
Another day. Life goes on. Another day is another day. It's always special to be alive another day.
Back in the rain, the lineup continues around the block as others wait to fill the seats, reminding us just how much we have to give thanks for. Julia Montague in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Vancouver has a Chinatown, a Little Italy, and a Little India, and soon we'll be adding another culturally distinct area to that list. The city has voted to designate an area of Vancouver as Little Saigon. Liz Craig has more.
Looking for a banh mi? They're just one of the many authentically Vietnamese goodies available on the strip of Kingsway that will soon become known as Vancouver's Little Saigon.
In our sub, what we do is we have different kind of meat, different kind of cold cuts, and we'll have the dressing on it and pate, and then different meat on top. And then you dress it with cilantros, carrot and daikon, and cucumbers. And then of course, if you like hot pepper, we do have the jalapeno food. That's our house special.
Tammy Trong has worked hard to convince the city to designate her neighborhood as the culturally distinct Little Saigon.
It means that we now being recognized for being participated with the city, culturally diverse, and has been maintaining the culture and its uniqueness in the area, so that we can actually be part of the multicultural, ethnic diverse that makes Vancouver so special, so unique, the best place to live in the world.
There's a little part within the communities that's kind of unique, is that we have a Little Saigon, a little bit of Vietnamese stores, grocery store, bakeries, all kind of video stores, and that's kind of make it unique. And I think that's kind of nice for the whole neighborhood.
Little Saigon will span Kingsway between approximately Fraser and Nanaimo streets. Liz Craig in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, a local dietitian gives us some tips for living gluten-free, and we discover a new sport soaring through BCIT.
They say if you want a wish to come true, never tell anyone. But there is one wish that can make the difference between life and death. And this wish can only come true if you tell someone. Please, let your family know you want to be an organ donor.
Welcome back. 2 bear cubs were caught in a dumpster outside a middle school in Coquitlam Wednesday morning. Conservation officers rescued the pair, but said the mother will likely be euthanized. Officers say the bears were attracted by garbage in the area. And the Vancouver International Film Festival wraps up this Friday after a successful 2-week run. The event showcases the best of international cinema. Justin Morissette joins us now to recap this year's festival. Justin, what were some of the highlights of VIFF this year?
Well, Julia, as you well know, the best part of the festival every year is the opportunity to see films well before they're released into theaters. Now, one of the most buzzworthy movies to screen this year was the film that opened the festival, Sarah Polley's Take This Waltz. Starring Michelle Williams and Vancouver funny man Seth Rogen, the Toronto shot comedy turned heads with its heartfelt performances, including a surprisingly capable turn from actress and comedian Sarah Silverman. While there were a number of strong international films and documentaries at the festival this year, Take This Waltz is the one you'll be hearing about in the months to come. Julia?
Thanks, Justin. More and more these days, people seem to be banishing gluten from their diets. I went down to Choices Market in Burnaby to chat with resident dietitian Desiree Nielsen. I found out that this limited diet is not actually as limiting as it once was. Hi there, I'm joined today by Desiree Nielsen. She's a registered dietitian here at Choices Market in Burnaby. Hi, Desiree.
Hello.
So we've got a few questions. We're going to be talking about gluten-free products today. So Desiree, why has gluten-free eating become so popular all of a sudden?
I think one of the reasons why gluten-free products have become so popular is that more and more people are becoming diagnosed with celiac disease, which is a disease where anyone who eats gluten actually causes damage to their gastrointestinal tract.
Now, what about for people who aren't suffering from celiac disease? Have you found that a lot of people are also starting to eat gluten-free by choice?
I have seen that. I think often when something is more popular, when it's in the media and people are talking about it more, I think others who are interested in health become interested in special types of diets.
Now, what do people miss the most when they cut gluten out of their diets?
I think that one of the things that people miss the most gluten-free is bread, until they find the right bread for their taste. There's such a variety of gluten-free breads made with different flours, different types of ingredients, different methods. So there is really one out there for everyone, but until you find that, I think that morning toast is really one of the things that people miss the most.
Great. So on that note, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the goodies you've brought out for us today?
What we're seeing nowadays is far more whole grain products.
So something like this pasta here, does it taste like real pasta?
It does taste like real pasta. Something that's really been improved, in particular with the pastas, is with the new heritage grains. For example, this one is actually made from rice and amaranth. Far better texture. These ones hold up far better to cooking and a wonderful taste as well.
Now what about this? I see this looks like it's made right here at Choices. What's this all about?
This is one of the things that makes Choices very unique is that we have our very own rice bakery facility. So it's a dedicated facility, so there's no cross-contamination, and we make a variety of gluten-free products. Everything from, delicious treats like brownies and cookies to everyday items like waffles and bread mixes and wonderful breads too. But really, the foundation of a healthy diet for everyone, gluten-free or not, is fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole gluten-free grains, and some dairy or some other vegetarian calcium sources.
So you can check out Choice's website at www.choicesmarkets.com/nutrition for any information about the products that we featured here today or their free nutrition services. Back to you. Disc golf enthusiasts can rejoice. BCIT now has 9 new nets down by the track. Now, if this all sounds a bit confusing, you're not alone. But as Matthew Vandeventer found out, it's a sport that is definitely showing some potential.
You'll find something new at the BCIT field. 9 disc golf nets have been installed around the track at BCIT. Facility programmer Peter Odinsky introduced the nets to get more people interested in the sport.
Frisbee golf is incredibly inclusive. I mean, it's basically for anybody. Anybody can play it. It's so easy. And that's been really one of the biggest messages of Frisbee golf as a culture. They want to include everybody in that. So it seemed like a real natural fit for us on campus.
The game is played like golf, but instead of a hole, you're aiming for these nets.
I got to throw this Frisbee lower, harder, faster.
Disc golf enthusiast Jerry Boomer was out in the field practicing his game. He enjoys the fact that he can walk across the street and throw around the discs at any time.
I've been playing with Frisbees ever since they first came out, so it's kind of like a sophisticated version of throwing a Frisbee. Keeps me alive, lots of exercise in the outdoors. Well, the main thing about disc golf compared to the other sports is who can play it, which is pretty much anybody.
Disc golf's a great way to get out and enjoy your community, and all you need is one of these.
Matthew Vandeventer in Burnaby, BCIT Magazine.
Apple's latest software will be available starting today, even though the new iPhone 4S doesn't reach stores for another 2 days. The new software adds a number of features, including a messenger service called iMessage, which is modeled after the highly popular BBM. And speaking of BlackBerries, problems with the smartphone system appear to have spread to the US. These developments follow reports of BlackBerry users in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa having 2 days of sporadic blackouts with their smartphones. Many users in Canada, however, have not reported such problems. If you have any questions or comments regarding this program, please visit us online at bcitbroadcastnews.ca or bcit-broadcast.com. I'm Julie Montague, and that's today's BCIT Magazine. Thanks for watching.